This is a review for the Eureka E20 Plus. The E20 is one of only a handful of robot vacuums on the market that self-empties into a reusable dustbin. Most competitors self-empty into a bag, which has to be replaced at cost. The E20 doesn't have this added cost. The E20 is also one of the cheapest robots we've tested that features LiDAR navigation and small obstacle detection and avoidance. The question is, how well does it execute these features? If it executes them well and it can vacuum well, it could be one of the best mid-range robot vacuums we've tested. Let's take a look. The Eureka's airflow was measured at 9 CFM. Its suction was measured at 0.18 kPa. These are both below average results. This robot has a single rubber brush roll housed in a compartment roughly 6 inches wide, which is slightly below average. It makes up for this with two side brushes, which pull debris from the perimeter of the robot into the path of its brush roll. With this design, the Eureka's performance was below average in our carpet stress test. It doesn't clean up all of the debris in a single pass, but neither did most other robot vacuums we've tested. The problem is that it doesn't pick up certain debris even after several additional passes. Most competitors get close to a perfect clean after only 2 passes. The Eureka performed much better in our carpet deep clean test. On default power, it picked up 9 grams of debris after 3 passes over an area of carpet embedded with 30 grams of fine debris. Most competitors picked up only 6 to 7 grams on default suction. Moving on to our hard floor stress test, the Eureka again performs worse than most competitors. Again, the problem isn't with the first pass, it's with multiple passes. Most competitors clean up this surface fairly well after multiple passes. The Eureka does not. Even with repeated movement, it still does not pick up a lot of the debris we use for this test. When it comes to edge pickup, the Eureka initially paths too far away from the edge, but it does eventually path sufficiently close to pick up edge debris effectively. The Eureka failed our crevice test. Even after extensive runtime, it couldn't pull most of the debris out of the crevice used for this test, though most competitors also did not perform well in this test. In our human hair pickup test, the Eureka picked up all the hair, but most of that hair wasn't pulled into its dustbin. 70 to 90% of the hair it picked up tangled around its brush roll and had to be cleaned off manually. This is a fairly average result though. The Eureka got a below average result in our pet hair pickup test. During this cleaning run, it looks like it picks up all of the tufts, but most of these tufts were actually stuck underneath the robot for the duration of the run. After we ended the test, we picked up the robot and saw this. Very few tufts were actually collected in its dustbin. Moving on to navigation, we tested the Eureka's general cleaning efficiency and coverage in 2 different environments, an empty room and a clutter room. In our empty room testing, we see how it first paths around the perimeter of the room, before pathing in a row-by-row pattern throughout the rest of the room. Overall, its pathing is efficient and its coverage is good in wide open spaces, according to this test. In our clutter room testing, it misses covering several parts of the room in this first trial. It covers most of these parts in a subsequent trial, but still never cleans underneath this part of the chair frame. Overall, the Eureka paths with poor efficiency and doesn't get complete coverage in this cluttered environment. The E20 is equipped with a top-mounted laser to detect and avoid large obstacles, like chairs and tables, and 2 crossed lasers on the front of the robot to detect and avoid small obstacles, like ped waste and power cords. In our small obstacle test environment, it also performed quite poorly. It first clips the edge and then runs right over this small ped waste prop. It then bumps into this larger ped waste prop. You can see how it senses some type of object in its way, so it tries to move around it, but it eventually runs right over it anyway. It seems to detect the shoe and navigate around it, but not without moving it. And it runs right over the sock and power cord to finish the run. Needless to say, this robot's small obstacle detection and avoidance feature does not work very well according to our testing. Other important specifications and test results we considered for this review are summarized here. Note especially that this is a full-fledged mapping robot that has the ability to map multiple floors of your home. And using the Eureka Companion app, you can label different parts of the generated map, set the robot to clean specific parts of the map, or set it to stay out of certain parts of the map. In the same chart, also note the E20's runtime and noise output, and how those specifications and test results compare to the average for all of the robot vacuums we've tested so far. Lastly, note the robot's diameter and height. These dimensions make the E20 an average size robot vacuum. Moving on to what we like and dislike about this vacuum, first let's talk about what we like. The E20 does deep clean carpet surprisingly well. It also navigates well in open spaces, and it has very good battery life. We also really like its docking station's compact size and bagless design. Moving on to what we dislike about this vacuum, the E20 picks up surface level debris on carpet and hard floors noticeably worse than most competitors. It also navigates poorly in cluttered environments and fails to detect and avoid most small obstacles according to our testing. When it comes to general recommendations, the E20 Plus is generally not recommended. It vacuums and navigates worse than most competitors. Its bagless docking station does work very well, but the other prominent feature that makes it as expensive as it is, small obstacle detection and avoidance, does not. Our recommendation is to avoid this model if you can. See the description of this video for a link to the latest updated list of all of those robot vacuums we do recommend. And thank you for watching.